Hey everyone, welcome back to The Whole Truth. I am Gil Arbel, your attorney at law, your MAGA attorney at law. I wanted to do it live. I was scheduled to do one with LLC, but I think she's having some technical difficulties. And when I get a chance to do it live, it's like I want to take it. So I'm going to, but you're going to wait for me to get some water real quick. Hi, Texas Motherbird, ex Samurai. Thank you for coming. I'm going to get started in just a few moments. Got my dog in here with me, so everyone say hi to Arrow. There he is, tearing apart my daughter's stuffed unicorn. Okay, so I didn't have anything. Dirt bike, velvet lace, Alita. Hi everyone. So again, I didn't have anything in particular planned. Again, I was planning on going on Lady Luck. So if you see that she's going live, let me know. But my understanding is she's having some technical difficulties, and so we'll forgive her. But let's see what's going on with the latest news on X. And if anyone has some good follows for me to add to X, let me know. This was my post recently. I'm kind of obsessed with AI modifications. This is Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden looking very Brokeback Mountain-y. I thought that was kind of funny. By the way, if you're not following me on X, first off, if you're not on X, don't start getting on X because it is a cesspool and it will take your time, and just don't do it. Okay, I deleted X and I restarted it, then I deleted it again. Now I restarted again because I'm trying to promote my channel and stuff, but it's really just a cesspool of hatred and idiocy. So if you're not on it, stay off it. But if you are on it, my name on it is Whole Truth 12, or The Whole Truth 12. And I gave myself an honorary operative number 98. The Eclectic Journalist said, since I wasn't part of the original 92 group chat, and I was very upset about that because I would love to be part of that group, the Eclectic Journalist gave me an honorary membership. So I'm number 98. Yeah, Alita, do not get on X, dirt bike, don't do it. Don't do it. And I haven't been on Facebook for like 10, 15 years. I might still have my account. I think I restarted my account just to use Facebook Messenger once or something, but basically since law school, I was like, I deleted it, and I'm like, wow, that was such a good choice. But X is even worse. It's just a shit show of, I mean, the Jew hate, the just the general hatred is just disgusting. So good for you guys, but you're gonna peruse X with me today. So Natalie Jean Beisner asks, is Matt Walsh the moderator? My guess is no. My guess is no, since he said he agreed with Michael Knowles's monologue about it. Does anyone know who the moderator is for the Andrew Wilson, the big debate between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens, which I think is just going to be a spectacle. I've said it about 30 times now. I did a whole live just because I wanted to express my thoughts about it. I am against it. I don't think Candace Owens. We need to starve the grift as much as possible. And I know that seems a little bit hypocritical considering that my thumbnail for this live is actually Candace Owens as a cockroach. And I actually did take the time to print this up, which, some people might say is a little, pathetic, but couldn't help myself. I dislike this lady so much, and I love everyone that dislikes her by default. Even if you're a bad person, if you dislike Candace Owens, it's like I'm probably going to be on your side. And that's not exactly true. But like, for example, Andrew Wilson, I don't really like him that much as a person. He kind of seems like a jerk, but I like that he's going after Candace. I don't think that this debate should happen. I think that it's a spectacle, and yet one more spectacle, grifting off the death of Charlie Kirk by Candace Owens in particular, and the amount of money that was talked about, I don't know if that money is still going on, but it was obscene. And even without that, they're going to make an obscene amount of money from the ad revenue and everything else. It's obscene. But even that aside, it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to move the needle at all. Spurg's out. She will walk away saying that she is victorious, and her followers will agree. I'm confident of that. Now, as I said before, there might be, like 2% of the people watching that are somehow in the middle still. They're just not following everything. Or, maybe they lean one way or the other and might be reached or persuaded by this debate. But it's such a small segment. If you haven't made up your mind by now, then you're probably not even the type that's going to be watching this. So I'm against the idea. That's just me. I think I'm in the minority on this. Because I also don't think that she can be humiliated. That's like a human emotion. And she's not human. She's a psychopath. So she doesn't have that internal conscience. But again, that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I was against her meeting with TPUSA. And I put out a video, even though I had like 12 followers at the time, I still felt like putting out a video cautioning against it. Same thing when she met with Erica Kirk. I'm like, what's the point? You're not going to accomplish anything. And you're going to give her more legitimacy. She's going to use it against you. And I ended up being right, which I always am. As everyone who watches knows, I'm 100% right. No, but seriously, though, I was right about that. And I think I'm right about this, too. They could go all day, 24 hours, just Andrew just annihilating her. And even if they admit defeat, they'll just be like, yeah, it was a, bad debate. She wasn't prepared enough, whatever. It's not going to actually change a single person's mind. And so it's obscene. The concept of it is obscene. But curious to know, by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Please share, please like, please comment. My only thing is that if you're going to comment, just be a human. But yeah. Yeah, exactly, Dirt Bike. They deny reality, Candace and her followers. So it doesn't matter. It's just I don't think that it's going to move the needle for anybody. But that's me. Let's see. New notification. Dirt Bike followed me. Yay! Well, that makes me happy. You gonna follow me before Dirt Bike? Okay, cool. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? So probably gonna see some pro. The laptop came from Israel. Yeah, I didn't watch this. I refuse to watch Tucker. I even mockingly. I mean, I it's just he he disgusts me in a way more than Candace. I don't know. They're really neck and neck. They're really neck and neck. I think Tucker's more dangerous. I'm like legitimately more scared of Tucker when I watch him. I just like I get the total vibes of like you know, so it scares me. Whereas Candace is so over the top, ridiculous, like clown show that I kind of just write it off a little bit easier. But I don't know what a chigger is. Chigger. So I can't say I agree because I don't know what that is. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Tucker's not as stupid. He has I think he has more devious intentions. I mean, maybe that's not the best way to put it. I don't know. He scares the shit out of me though. He scares the shit out of me, literally. And Candace is just a wicked, wicked person, but she wears it much more outwardly. So, anyways, point is, I did not watch Tucker glazing Hunter. I've seen clips. I think it's just. I'm actually glad that he's doing this. I think that it's helping with his downfall. Because I don't know anybody left or right that thinks that Hunter has anything relevant to say about anything. I mean, his only relevance is that he's the son of the president, which, you know, if you had other qualities, then maybe that would make you interesting, you know, have an interesting perspective. But besides being the son of the president, he just seems like a total dirtbag. And I think, like, everyone knows that by now. So I can't imagine anything interesting coming from him. But lo and behold, Israel came up. I mean, Tucker cannot go one episode without talking about Israel. It is a disgusting obsession. Like the topic can literally be tax fraud in Ohio, and somehow Israel is going to be shoehorned into it. Everything, and I put up a video short about how to be an internet grifter in 7 easy steps, and that was one of my pieces of advice: is you have to shoehorn Israel into any topic. Doesn't matter what it is, it has to come back to Israel. So bank fraud in Ohio, Israel. Oil spill off the coast of Baja, Mexico, Israel. Doesn't matter what it is, you got to make it about Israel. And of course, that's what Hunter and Tucker do. So now this has been the latest candy controversy is with the supposedly enhanced photos of stills of Tyler Robinson, or you know, the allegedly Tyler Robinson, that have been making the rounds on X. And in the enhanced versions, it doesn't resemble Tyler Robinson, but it doesn't resemble the same person, so it's obviously warped. Um, I'm not sure who first started this, but I think that it's starting to actually gain traction with the bigger influencers. And these people are stupid. They think that they're going to crack the case better than Tyler Robinson's defense team. Let me say something as a defense lawyer, and I'm not saying that there's never a scenario where people from their home can help solve mysteries and stuff like that, because yeah, I think that can happen. Um, and especially if a defendant has a bad defense team, they might be missing stuff if they're like totally overwhelmed with work, which a lot of public defenders are. Then yeah, you might be able to find stuff out that the defense team doesn't find out. But in general, his defense lawyers are communicating with Tyler, right? And so if Tyler would say something to his defense lawyers saying, like, dude, that is not me on the camera, that is not me, right? Then his defense lawyers would really pick that apart and look into it. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing them going after the surveillance footage. Um, I mean, and maybe they will at trial, but we didn't see it thus far. There's no evidence of it thus far, and they have access to the defendant. And the reason that they might not want to, if Tyler Robinson tells them that it's him or something, is that it could just end up corroborating more and more. It's like if you're going to get like an expert to study the surveillance footage and figure out the person's physical traits, and then that expert comes back with the conclusion that it is Tyler Robinson, then you just paid $10,000 or $15,000 to an expert to help the prosecution, right? So that could be why they're not going that route. But I'm not saying that should be used against him, but I am saying that if they're not poking holes in the surveillance footage themselves, you're not likely to be able to figure that out from behind your computer with your little laptop. Okay? Tyler Robinson has a good defense team. I haven't heard anybody offer any legitimate criticisms. They seem to know what they're doing. They're trying their best in the courtroom, following the procedures. And I think that these are very talented or very skilled defense lawyers. And all these internet grifters are like going around them trying to like provide defenses that even they're not being, or they're not giving the court. And I think it's just stupid. They don't understand that the defense team has the access to Tyler Robinson and knows where to go with it. I'm not going to read all this. This looks. Carrie Persian Bowler, Christ is king and genocide is always wrong. Uh, okay. I think she's trying to imply that Israel committed genocide. That Israel did not commit genocide in Gaza. Sorry, you can say Israel might have committed war crimes. Some Israelis, but you cannot say that Israel committed genocide, because if they had the intent to commit genocide, they would be able to commit genocide. They have the capability, and they haven't. The population of Gaza has increased. That's not genocide. Um, what are Sorry, I'm looking at your guys's chats here. Yeah, Smiles and the Twisted MD. I agree with you. My cat threw up the other day. Israel, yeah, yeah, it's always Israel. Um, can you guys still hear me? Okay. I was trying to follow up what chiggers are, and again, I'm saying chig. I'm afraid that that's going to come out sounding bad. Um, Okay, you guys can hear me? Okay, it just shows that it's going slow on my end, but yeah, yeah. This Carrie Prejean Bowler, she's a one trick pony. You want to talk about one trick ponies? She just is latching on to Candace for attention and riding the Jew hate. Why night owls are more intelligent? Really? Well, it's Eclectic Journalist. I support her, by the way. I did a joint video with Eclectic Journalist. I think she's editing it. So maybe she's going to put that out in the next few days. That was fun. She's cool. She's the one that made me an honorary member of the 92. Okay, so yes, this photo is being furthered, I guess you would say, propagated by Candace on her show. So if you see the one on the left, that's the one they're saying is an enhanced version, whereas the one on the right is the one that we saw. So obviously, the way that I mean, I'm not a, as you guys can tell, I'm not a techie, but if you look at the one on the right, you can see that the way that there is a sort of compression, or what's the word, squishing almost, and that probably is because it's on like a wide angle lens, and so the parts that are closer to the edges are going to be more compressed. And so in order to make it look like the way that it's looks, the hoods of the cars look like on the left side, on the left picture, they're expanding everything. But you notice it doesn't, it looks like it's AI enhanced. Yeah. So Mid Gray asks, why is the aspect ratio completely different, as if it got stretched out horizontally? Look at the width of the Jeep hood, right? You can see the Jeep hood looks kind of squished here, and that's because it's more close to the edge, so it's compressed because it's a wide angle lens. Yeah, and so Mid Gray is saying that it's totally enhanced. I'm gonna read this one. Yeah, it's not the same picture. It's not like they took that same picture and like just like enhanced what was already given here. It looks like it's AI enhanced, like it's basically a fabrication. And I'm seeing some differences. If you look at the rumples on the shirt, they don't even match. Let me post my reply. Anyways, it's like, how much more? These people are just liars. How much more can they do to get Tyler Robinson off for the murder? Let him have his day in court. He deserves his day in court. He deserves a good defense. They will present the defense in court. These people are not helping anybody. They're not helping Tyler. I mean, they could be helping Tyler by tainting the jury pool, but they're not actually helping the defense team counter any evidence because what they're doing is not legitimate. Chicks on the right, I love everything they say, so it doesn't matter what they're saying. I'm gonna like it and repost it. Ooh, do you guys want to see an Uncle Tom public apology to the 92? Let me just check this X space out. Do we have any? We have Wolf Dad and Blake. Let's just listen for a few minutes. Maybe we can make fun of them. Hold on. Okay, let's see if I can get this sound working. Are you guys hearing the X space? I'm not hearing the X space. I'm gonna figure it out. Let's see what's going on with the sound here. Uh, I think it just has to do with. Let me see. Okay, so my sound system is not the problem. It's something to do with X. The sound is not. I can't hear it. So I'm going to leave. This Uncle Tom guy on X, by the way, he's a big Jew hater. He's a piece of shit. His counter to every point that I made was that I'm Jewish, so I have no right to talk, basically. So that's that guy. You know, when you're manipulating evidence and broadcasting manipulated evidence, I don't know. At a certain point, this might become obstruction of justice. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say on the topic. I'm curious. So according to ChatGPT, I asked, intentionally broadcasting manipulated evidence into the public domain during judicial proceedings, is that First Amendment protected speech, or is it obstruction of justice and jury tampering? Um, and according to ChatGPT, it depends on a variety of factors, of course. Um, so it can't be jury tampering because it has to be someone who has been summoned already as a juror. So she's not yet, cannot be said to be intentionally manipulating a juror because nobody's been summoned yet. No prospective jurors. So what about tampering with evidence? So unless unless the prosecution in a case against Candace Owens can show that the purpose of her putting out this, first they have to show that it's obviously manipulated, which I think they probably can. Then they have to show that the purpose that she's trying to make is to eventually cause witnesses, parties, or eventually jurors to accept the fabricated evidence rather than just general members of the public to accept fabricated evidence. Then maybe there's a case as opposed to free speech protection. Um, but she's walking a fine line here. You know, the First Amendment doesn't cover everything. There's certain limitations on free speech, and intentionally manipulating evidence in an ongoing proceeding and broadcasting it and trying to say that this is actually evidence and therefore Tyler Robinson is innocent, that might be getting close to the line there. So today, real Candace Owens, the cockroach, the real cockroach herself, um, said that No Soup for Knowles, who is a good follow on X. I think she's one of the illustrious 92. And this is according to Jackie Che, who's also one of the illustrious 92. One second, my dog is asking to be let inside the house. So she says, today, real Candace O said that No Soup for Knowles sent thousands of tweets about her. She called it radicalism and contrasted it with her own 104 tweets about Erica Kirk. There's a difference, Candace. You started it. Nobody would be talking about you if you just shut the F up. Okay? Nobody cares about what you do in your personal life. You're not interesting. It's because you have a big public following. Now, she's, of course, can counter and say, well, the same applies for Erica, but there's a big difference. Erica's not starting shit with you, Candace. Erica, I don't know how Erica doesn't even go out in public and just talk shit about Candace every day and cuss her out. She is such a better person than me because that's all I would be doing. But anyways, we're standing up for Erica Kirk and for justice and for Charlie. That's the difference, Candace. You stand for nothing except yourself. You cockroach. She called it radicalism and contrasted it with her own 104 tweets about Erica Kirk. But Candace forgot something. Her show streamed to millions. Yeah, maybe No Soup for Knowles just doesn't have a show that reaches millions, so she uses Twitter. Whereas you have a show that you broadcast every single day, basically, that reaches millions, and so maybe you're not on X as much. A show in which she obsessively accuses and implicates Erica Kirk in her own husband's assassination. And that's another thing. What she accuses Erica of is much worse than anything that Candace gets accused of. Candace is accused of being just an evil, psychopathic witch cockroach because she is. That's just objectively she is. But nobody really accuses her of covering up her own husband's murder. So there's that difference also. Take a look at this own radicalism from a person with a much bigger audience. Candace pretends to be afraid of Britta, who never ever shared Candace's home info in the group. Yet Candace mocked Erica's fear that she could be murdered and her kids would be left orphaned. Look at the evidence and make up your own mind. Candace said someone in Britta's life needs to step in and intervene. I'd say the same about Candace. And then, this is a scrolling of all the times that Candace Owens talked about Erica. Candace viciously mocks Erica. People online, they're just saying what they want me to die. I'm just so overwhelmed, Mr. Vice President. Dab, 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 no tears. I just don't want my kids to be an orphan, Mr. Vice.
I just don't want my kids to be an orphan, Mr. Vice President. She's a female. She's I'm just scared, and I'm looking online, and people are saying they're just saying that they want me to die, and I'm just so overwhelmed right now, Mr. Vice President. I'm just so overwhelmed. Dab, 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 no tears. I'm so overwhelmed. And he was probably like, oh my God. And my kids, I just don't want my kids to be an orphan, Mr. Vice President. I'm so sorry. That's what I think went down. She's a female. She's just scared, and I'm looking online, and people are saying they're just saying that they want me to die, and I'm just so overwhelmed right now.
This is why I had this made. You're a witch, Candace. You're a cockroach. Hold on a second. Can you hear me? There's always something. I think that part of the issue is that X really takes up uh okay. So I'm gonna repeat it again because my whole setup sucks. Um, but yeah, I just settled a small case, and I think I'm gonna use the money to treat myself to a little bit better setup here because this is just starting to get ridiculous. I've never encountered so many tech issues. But what I was saying is that I was on X, and I think that part of the problem is that X uses a lot of like RAM and stuff, and so that was really slowing down my system. And so I'm gonna take myself off X, and you guys are just going to see a bigger version of me. And we're just gonna chat. Uh, oh, PBD is moderating. Do I like that? I mean, as I already said, I'm against the whole debate. Period. It's a shitty concept to me. She should not be getting any attention because she hasn't done anything to move the narrative. If she actually thought there was a conspiracy and that Tyler Robinson was innocent, she hasn't done anything to show that. Okay? If it is if it ends up being proven that Tyler Robinson is innocent, it will have absolutely nothing to do with anything Candace Owens has done. Okay? We can all take comfort in that fact. She's not providing any evidence that Tyler Robinson is innocent. And if it turns out that there is this crazy conspiracy, it will have nothing to do with anything Candace Owens has done. If anything, if there is a real conspiracy here, Candace Owens' stupidity, and same with Baron Coleman, is just getting people off track. I don't think there's a big conspiracy, but if there is, it has nothing to do with anything Candace is pumping out there, because what she's doing is just retarded. She is a retarded cockroach piece of shit. As for PBD moderating, I mean, does he know anything about moderation? Moderating debates? I mean, I don't dislike PBD. I mean, I'm kind of neutral on the guy. He's, I don't love him, but I have nothing against him. I like some of the stuff he says, I guess. I just don't know what makes him qualified. Just because he's a big YouTuber, why they should probably just get like a regular, professional debate moderator. But whatever. That's not going to make a difference. The whole concept of a debate is stupid. Andrew Wilson's going to win, but who cares? What is that? So I'm just frustrated that anyone is going to give her more attention. And I know that, again, it's ironic for someone to say as I am giving her attention, but I'm giving her bad attention. I don't mind anyone giving her bad attention, but I don't want anyone to give her actual legitimate attention. And I think you're giving her some legitimacy by just debating her. It's like, It's just stupid. Whatever though. I hope it goes as well for Andrew Wilson as possible. That's all I can say. Where I've been attention for PBD too. Yeah, I mean, but I don't really follow PBD that much, so the little bit that I do, I'm just kind of neutral about them. Okay, Alita, you want me to check out? I'm worried that my computer sucks so much that it's gonna like spurg out again. Let's see if I can. I want to watch this video. And I'm not ignoring, I do want to watch it, Alita. It's just my computer sucks. Until I get a new one. I'm afraid to do anything with it while I have it working. But let's watch it. Let's watch this. So what do I put? Andrew Wilson, debate, Candace Owens. No, this is... Should I just put Andrew Wilson and look up the Crucible? Let's put Crucible at the beginning. This one? Yeah, probably this one. Okay. 1 second. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix it.
Let me give everyone an update of exactly where we are. A few weeks ago, Brian Atlas, a friend of mine who runs the Whatever podcast, offered up $100,000 for Candace Owens to debate with me about the murder of Charlie Kirk on his platform. He eventually raised it to $150,000, to which I said I would match it if we could actually debate on neutral ground. I expressed this story recently on the Joe Rogan podcast. Candace and her fans' reactions were volatile, to say the least. She issued a strange counter that I needed to pay her $500,000 and that TPUSA needed to, quote, claim me. Now, I don't work for TPUSA, so I couldn't grant that concession, as it would have been a lie. She followed with an offer of me paying $300,000 to debate her at her home on the topic of if Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk and if he was a federal patsy or not. Obviously, this gives massive advantages to Owens, but I'm never one to back down from a debate challenge, even if I think the terms are fundamentally unfair. We entered into negotiations, and during those negotiations, Joe Rogan contacted us both, asking to host our debate. This is perhaps something you guys don't know. Obviously, I thought that changed everything, as that would guarantee the biggest platform for both of us to make our case on neutral ground. Unsurprisingly to me, Candace Owens declined. No control, you see. She insisted it be at her home still, even after Rogan said he would come in on his off day to do the debate, and I would still give her the $300,000. You would think if she was actually trying to change the minds of normies and reach a new audience, that's where she would go, but sadly, no. After many rounds of negotiations and a new moderator stepping in who assures us it'll be fair, we came to an agreement. I went ahead and sent the $300,000, and it has been confirmed by her staff and to us that it has been sent. I am going to clear the air on a few things. I wasn't some Charlie Kirk fanboy. In fact, I had my and still have my disagreements with him. But I always thought TPUSA did way more good than it did harm to the conservative movement. But I will never forget the series of TikTok invasions I did post Charlie's death, only to watch the lunatic left laughing and mocking and having the time of their lives watching the spiral of chaos that came after. It was enraging, to say the least. I know I'm not a very nice man. I get that. But I am a very kind man. I lamented many times to my wife how god-awful the family and friends of Charlie must feel about what happened to him after he died. Trying to find some new normal under intense media scrutiny, balancing duty and obligation with remorse, regret, and overwhelming sadness. My stated objective for my platform, The Crucible, has been unwavering, and I've never strayed from its goal. Destroy the left. Take them on everywhere on their own turf, outside their turf, at their events, in their safe spaces. Challenge them everywhere and destroy their ideas. Be unrelenting, never stop, and not one step back. This woman, Candace, has been terrorizing both the widow of Charlie Kirk and the organization he left behind. It's obvious her stated goal is to destroy the largest conservative college and high school outreach program currently in existence. Do I disagree with a lot of TPUSA ideas? I do. I would rather try to change them, though, than burn down the only organization in my lifetime to really get a foothold in academia, the thing conservatives have wanted for 60 years. In the following weeks, I will be relentlessly attacked from the Candace Owens cult for daring to put their leader to the question and for daring to question the questioners. I accept that as a side effect of challenging what has become a powerful industry of conspiracy peddling true crime nonsense, which has a sycophantic and cult-like following. They have been at it for days, going through everything they can possibly dig up about me to hurt me, as there is multitudes of millions of dollars on the line for these creators, and they will stop at nothing to protect their interests, regardless of the lives they destroy along the way. Many creators and private individuals have reached out to help me with this financial burden, and they understand the fallout which is likely to come for me and my family for doing the right thing when it mattered the most. Now, to be clear, I have already sent Candace the $300,000 and fulfilled my end of the contract with her. If you guys want to help me in bearing that cost and help cushion the overwhelming attacks from her sycophants, here's where you can donate. Many of us are in this fight together, win or lose. Maybe I can do something to change its course for the entirety of the conservative movement. Promise made, promise kept. Thank you for your time.
Okay, good. Thank you, Alita. That was a good recommendation. My take is, number one, I like what he had to say for the most part. Definitely, like, there's no question I'm on his side here. So let's just get that clear. There's just it's obvious. Like, I'm on the side that is not the wicked, right? But number one, $300,000 more to Candace Owens. I know it's a drop in a bucket for her bank account, but it's still disgusting to me. It's just disgusting in principle. It's disgusting. Now, if she donated it to Charlie Kirk's family, then I'll withdraw that singular objection, but she's not going to. And I think that says everything about her. But it's just obscene. I mean, you know, I may be a lawyer, but I'm not wealthy like a lawyer. So $300,000 to me is a lot of fucking money. And the idea that she's going to get that for a few hours of debating, it's just disgusting. About the death of her friend. So that's number one. That's not even to mention how much she's going to make from the views, the ad revenue, the super chats, and everything else. On top of it, just from the debate. I'm not talking about everything else she's been doing and will continue to do. So I'm disgusted by that, and on that principle alone, I'm against it. But let's leave that aside. I still am against it. even though I like what Andrew Wilson is saying here, and I believe that he's coming at it from, a genuine place, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change any trajectory. I'm sorry, it's not going to. It does not matter how great Andrew Wilson does, and I'm sure he will do a very good job. So I'm against it. But it's happening. My input is obviously not going to change it. So I guess I got to reconcile that. And I made my objections clear. That said, I hope Andrew Wilson wipes the floor with her. I hope he makes her look to be the complete, utter fool that she is, because she is not just wicked. She is also stupid. And that is its own type of wicked. There's nothing wrong with people, that are not as intelligent as others. I don't sit on a high horse and say, oh, you're not smart, or, whatever. Everybody has different qualities. But when you're stupid and you indulge in stupidity and you take pride in the stupidity, I think that's its own form of wickedness. And Candace certainly does that. So I would like for her to be made look stupid. I would like Andrew to call her out on her specific stupid ass claims. Specifically, definitive ones that she made. Remember, just a few weeks ago, she said Lance Twiggs was never interviewed. That's a pretty significant fuck up. Okay? Candace Owens, Lance Twiggs is the most important witness in this case. And to say that he was not interviewed, if that was true, I would also be like, whoa, that's weird. That is something that, as a defense lawyer, I'm going to pick up on. But he was interviewed twice. We saw it. It was recorded. Has she ever come back and said, I was wrong about that, and that significant of an error is going to cause me to reassess some of my other points or anything, I'm going to readjust? No, she doesn't do that. So I hope he calls her out specifically about that claim, because I found that to be particularly egregious. I mean, everything she says is egregious, but that one is just, easy. About the Spider-Man, how Tyler Robinson would have to be Spider-Man, what really disgusts me about that is that she didn't even bother to go to the campus and verify it. And so anybody who cares about investigating a crime and seeking truth, I mean, not everybody's able to hop on a flight to Utah and do that. But she is, and she should have. That's the least that she could do if she's going to claim to be an investigator. So I hope he calls her out for that too. And of course, I hope he calls her out for all of her horrible, horrible defamation and slander against Erica, against TPUSA, against Brian Harple, against... another thing I would like to see, but I don't think Andrew Wilson is going to go this route, is she keeps implying Jews in Israel are behind it. And I think that's also disgusting. I don't think Andrew Wilson's going to go after her for that, because I don't think he's particularly, friendly to the Jewish and Israel cause. But I would like that, but whatever. By the way, this came up when I was talking with Eclectic yesterday. You know how much it sucks for us Jews, in a way? Charlie Kirk, whether or not his views on Israel were evolving, which I don't think they really were. I think everything that people point out to say that is kind of out of context. I think he was frustrated that some donors were pulling money, some Jewish donors were pulling money out of his organization, which they have the right to do. It's their money. Because Charlie was platforming people like Tucker. And honestly, I would do the same thing. If I was donating money to TPUSA and TPUSA continues to platform someone like Tucker, then I would pull my money from it too. It's my money. So anyways, I think he was frustrated about that, and he was venting. But regardless, even if his views on Israel were evolving, he he was one of the best friends that Jews in Israel had. In public, all of his public pronouncements were pro-Israel, pro-Jewish. He fought back against anti-Semitism, and we don't have a ton of people that are doing that. You know, we have Jews are obviously doing that, but that doesn't carry as much weight. So Charlie Kirk was doing that, and he was doing that with the young crowd. And so he was such an asset. And so not only when he was taken out did we lose somebody that was so vital to the pro-Israel cause, but then right after, it's Israel that gets accused of doing it, which is just so stupid. But it was like a double whammy, you know? Like, we just lost one of our greatest friends and allies, and now we're getting accused. Israel's getting accused of being behind it because no. And let me just, harp on this point a little bit further. Israel carries out assassinations against Hamas leaders and Iranian nuclear scientists and stuff like that. They're not going to assassinate an American public commentator. That's so, just from a purely selfish Israeli standpoint. Just think about it. Are you going to risk alienating the only true ally in the world that you have left? Israel doesn't have a whole lot of allies. Are you going to risk alienating the only true ally you have by going and publicly assassinating him in broad daylight? And are you going to involve because the cover-up and conspiracy would have to involve hundreds and hundreds of people. Are you going to involve all these hundreds and hundreds of people, any one of which, if they feel like spilling the beans to the news, you're screwed? Is that really worth the risk? Because in private 2 days ago he said that he was kind of turning away from Israel? It's so stupid that it almost shouldn't be addressed. Yeah, and of course, I mean, Israel, when they assassinate Hamas people, first off, they avoid doing it. I mean, I guess when you're talking about the Munich case, they did go into European countries to assassinate those terrorists. I was going to say they usually avoid doing it in allied countries. But yeah, they don't do it in broad daylight in front of hundreds and hundreds of people on holding cell phones. And they don't involve hundreds. Baron Coleman says it's so many members of the crowd, the security team, the emergency response team, UVU campus personnel, the surgeon and the hospital, the medical examiner, the sheriffs, the ATF, the FBI, Kash Patel, then TPUSA, Erica Kirk, so many hundreds of people, thousands even, would have to be involved. First off, that text by Charlie Kirk saying that he was upset about the Jewish donors backing out, that was like 2 days before his assassination. How is it? It's so ridiculous to imagine that they would do that within 2 days. It doesn't deserve any serious response. But also, I mean, like, if Charlie Kirk was in fact privately turning against pro-Israel, I mean, Israel would just be like, okay, well, let's try to get him back on our side. Wouldn't that make a lot more sense? I mean, he's one of our best friends. He's been one of our best supporters in the past. If he's starting to turn against us, maybe we should do a little bit better PR. Maybe we should meet with him and try and convince him to come back. No, we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him on UVU campus. And risk alienating not just the American government, which obviously would be outraged, rightfully outraged, that they would assassinate an American on American soil like that, but also the evangelical movement, which is like really the only friends that Israel has this day and age. So it's such a stupid conspiracy theory. and it's all based on this one text where he's venting 2 days before he gets murdered. He's venting that he's upset that some Jewish donors pulled some money because he was platforming Tucker. And my guess is, and I don't like to put words in dead people's mouths, so that's what Candace does. But I would be curious to know how Charlie would be thinking about Tucker right now. Because Tucker, soon after Charlie's death, brings on Nick Fuentes, who Charlie drew the line and said, I don't want anything to do with this person. I don't want him to get any publicity, but Tucker does it. Tucker brings on this guy, Jimmy Dore, whatever, who also mocks Erica Kirk on Tucker Carlson's podcast. If you ask me, Charlie would probably be more pissed at Tucker Carlson than he would be at these Jewish donors. He probably would be like, you know what, those Jewish donors had a point. Maybe I shouldn't have platformed Tucker. He's not a good person. But again, I don't like to speculate, you know. I just got sidetracked because I do hope Andrew Wilson calls out Candace's anti-Semitism while he's at it. Us Jews really do need as much allies as we can get. And we're happy to be on the right side here, but the more joining our side for whatever reason, the better. And the same hatred that Erica Kirk is getting, the same sick, vile hatred that Erica Kirk is getting, is also being launched at Jews. So I hope he calls her out on that too. But that's kind of a wish list. Anyone have any? Thank you, Saves. Thank you. No, Mackenzie. I don't like to go that we're the chosen people. I don't like to say that we're above anybody or special or anything like that. I just want to be treated the same as everybody else. I mean, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I know a lot of people do. That's not my thing. I just want to be treated the same as everyone else. And then when we're talking about American Jews, we have contributed a lot to America. We love this country. And we deserve to be protected just like anyone else, any other American. But when it comes to Israel, I have a nuanced view. I understand I'm biased because I have family there. So it's like I don't expect the average American to be as affectionate toward Israel as I am. I mean, it's great if they are, but I don't expect it. And, just don't want us dead. That's fine. Just just be neutral is fine. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, so I guess I have to reconcile with the fact that the debate is going to happen, and let's keep our fingers crossed that Andrew Wilson really does wipe the floor with her. I saw his debate against Stu Peters, and yeah, he made Stu Peters look stupid, but did it really? I wasn't totally impressed. And I'm not saying that to denigrate Andrew, because he's much better at it than I would be. It's not like I would go there and be like, oh my god, he's better than me for sure. But it wasn't like it was just I walked away from that thinking that okay, nothing lost, very, very little gained, maybe. What do you guys think? Well, thank you all. Yeah, still treat me regular. Exactly. Just treat us regular. Just don't hate us, I don't need to... We don't need to be extra loved or anything. Just don't hate us. But yeah, it is upsetting because Charlie Kirk was one of our best friends. And so, like, at the same time that we lose somebody who did stand with us, and then we get accused of killing him. And at first, when that was, Ian Carroll said that basically on day one. day one, Ian Carroll said it. And it was easy to write that off because it's like, first off, you're just a Jew hater. There's no evidence of anything yet. There's just no evidence, period. And he said that Israel did it on day one. And so I thought it was just so ridiculous that I wasn't going to get any traction. But here we are 11 months later, and it's like, it sometimes seems like half the population, at least online, believes it. Well, Alita, I don't know if you watched my last, no, it wasn't the last live. Last live was just me walking around my neighborhood with my baby, just chatting. Yeah, Mackenzie, he put a tweet out like literally the next day, and he said that Israel did it. I forget exactly how he said it, but he said Israel did it, like literally the next day, before there was any evidence of anything. So it wasn't like he was misinterpreting the evidence. It was just there was no evidence whatsoever. It was at the point like, yeah, Israel could have done it, but nobody has any idea anything. Remember the day after, before I think even Tyler Robinson was caught, and so that's just a joke. 1 second, the mouse just ran out of batteries. You guys, just so you know, I may have to stop if it's my turn to be with the baby. Childcare now is so expensive. We can't afford it all the time. And so me and my wife have to take turns. And ooh, third world assault on America. This seems like a good one. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who
last week, Tommy Robinson,
I just love, like no ifs, ands, or buts, this guy right here, Jeremy Boring. Jeremy Boring is just somebody I really, really, really like. I don't think I've ever heard anything from him that I disagree with. Maybe I don't. The funny thing is that I used to be somewhat a normal liberal before the left went nuts, basically before Trump. But with Obama, I was a little bit. Anyway, I don't want to turn any of you guys against me. I'm like kind of a classic liberal in many ways, in the sense that I don't care about gay people. If gay people want to get married, I don't care. It's not my issue. I'm not gung ho like, yeah, do it. I just don't care. I do have some nuance about abortion. I know that might rub a lot of people the wrong way. But I will say I'm 100% against any late or midterm abortions. When it comes to early term, I think I have some nuance, but I don't want to turn my limited fan base against me. And then on like tax policy, stuff like that, I'm somewhat middle of the road. I don't believe in like no taxes, period, because I think everybody understands that we have to have some taxes to pay for the common good. So probably a little bit more leftist on that issue than some of you. But I'm not like tax the rich socialism type person. That I'm very different from that. So anyways, Jeremy Boring, let's give him a shot.
and posted a video on X showing thousands of Shia Muslims gathered to observe Arba'in, which falls 40 days after Ashura and closes the mourning period for Hussein ibn Ali, grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, killed at the Battle of Karbala in 680. The video shows hundreds of women and girls, some still infants, solemnly parading through the street in the traditional black abayas, the full-length, loosely flowing modesty robes common for women living in traditional Muslim cultures. The faces of the women and girls are covered by deep green veils symbolizing the family of Muhammad himself, and of course, black gloves, ensuring no skin is visible on any part of the body. It's a somber scene, a deeply religious scene. It's a scene straight out of the most traditional enclaves of Iraq or Lebanon. Only this video wasn't taken in Iraq or Lebanon, no. This video was taken right here in the good old US of A. Dearborn, Michigan to be exact, home of Henry Ford and of late, the highest concentration of Arab and Muslim residents of any city in America. In 2023, it became the first Arab-majority city anywhere in the country. Commentator Ali Beth Stuckey, responding to the video, observed, quote, "There are little girls and an
So, big fan of Ali Beth Stuckey too. These are just like good people. You know, even if we disagree on certain policies, I can still just look at somebody and know that they're genuinely a good person. You know? And I feel that way much more about people on the right and conservatives than I feel that way about people on the left. But there's people on the left that are good people, just misguided. My mom is very TDS, but she's just misguided. She gets her news from the wrong sources. So anyways, Ali Beth Stuckey, you guys keep watching this. I need to get
wearing modesty garb in this video. If you just take the time to ask yourself why tiny children in this culture are forced to wear clothing meant to mitigate male lust, you might just see why importing Islam is a bad idea. A lot of bad ideas are being imported into America these days. In 2017, a journalist named Jafar Abdul Karim walked the streets of Amman, Jordan, and asked men a simple question. What would you do if your sister left home to find a job? Quote, "It wouldn't work, of course, because a woman shouldn't leave the house without a male chaperone," said one. Quote, "It is forbidden. It's about honor," said another. When asked by the reporter what he would do if his sister left and got a job anyway, the man's answer was chilling. Quote, "I would shoot her. I would do it. I would kill her," he said. When pressed by the reporter,
Okay, sorry everyone. It's baby time for me, but I will. Yeah. Well, let's talk more about it another time, ex Samurai, because my wife is in need of my assistance with the baby, and I'm gonna watch this Jeremy Boring episode. So maybe you all should watch it on your own, and we could talk about it next time. Thank you all, and take care.